I think after filming this video, I'm going to go treat myself to a coffee. I feel like it is that kind of a day. Welcome back to another video and another book review. I fell actually quite a ways behind in my book reviews, even with my Wednesday reviews, which I was doing to catch myself up on reviews, and it didn't work. I took too many breaks in between. But I'm here today with another review that I should have done a while ago, and that is Unbreakable by Sara Elle. I'm not going to go too much into the synopsis because A, I'm terrible at doing synopsis, you guys know this, and B, it is the third book in a trilogy, so I don't want to spoil anything for the previous two books, so we're just going to go right into what I thought about this. I've had the great pleasure and privilege of being part of Sara Elle's early reviewers, and I have yet to put up an early review. I have never been able to get that done. So I deeply apologize, but I'm here today and we're going to review this. So I got an advanced reader copy of Unbreakable. Now for the third book in the series, we are following Eliana's journey on being the vessel of the Verity, and there's the Void versus the Verity, and we're still continuing on this story. I liked this book, but I did not love this book. And it's hard for me to say that because I adore Sara Elle and I loved Unblemished. I didn't mind Unraveling, but I didn't love Unbreakable. It was still a very good conclusion, but it felt all over the place. Like, it felt like so much was going on. It still continued the story. It was still a very entertaining story, but I felt like the story was just everywhere. There's so much going on. There's so many different aspects. There was like place hopping, dimension hopping, time travel, disguises, who's who. So many characters to keep track of that you're just losing everybody, even the side characters. I loved all the side characters in Unblemished, but I'm starting to like lose who everybody is and what everybody's doing by the time I got to Unbreakable. With so much going on, I really felt like the story was just, as I said, everywhere. I felt like it was very rushed. There was moments of her type of writing, like a lot of the alluding to pop culture and a lot of pop culture references. And a lot of you guys, I've mentioned this in previous reviews of her other two books. There was a lot going on. And for someone who doesn't watch a lot of musical theater, I missed so much of the pop culture references that it just went over my head. I also missed a lot of the music references because I work in a record store, but I'm more of a movie person, so a lot of that went over my head. I understand Eliana was very musical, so she thought in like music quotes and stuff, so that made sense to me as a character, but it still felt kind of overwhelming to just hear all of these name drops, these albums, these titles, these musicals that I've never seen or heard of, and it just didn't make the story flow better for me. Another thing I mentioned with the writing was the description of activity and sound, like bump, shuffle, ouch, or twist, pull. I don't know. Like there's a lot. Can I even find an example of this? Probably not, now that I want to look for one. But there was a lot of that in Unraveling that I noticed so much, and it's so much more of that I've noticed in Unbreakable. And because there was so much in Unraveling and Unbreakable, it actually hindered the story for me. It didn't flow the story. I felt like it just chopped it up more for me, and it was so annoying, to be honest, with the audiobook. It was just, it was almost grating to a point, and I don't know if the audiobook made it feel that way with the narrator, but it was not my favorite aspect of the story. The other thing I didn't like was actually Ebony's character and some of the character changes. I loved all of the characters in Unblemished. I liked most of them in Unraveling, and I loved Ebony in Unraveling, but I could not stand her in Unbreakable. I could see her character growth and her character change, but I don't know if it was the narration of the audiobook and how the audiobook narrator portrayed her that drove me to complete irritation of this uptown girl who needed to get slapped upside the head. Which was so sad for me because I really liked how her character was developing from Unraveling. As for content with this, there isn't much except for a lot of magic, and also the shape-shifting characters do shape back into their human form in the nude, but it's not like focused on, and nobody seems to be bothered by that. You're not being described their nude state, but just a heads up, characters are transforming into other creatures and then transforming back in the nude. Overall, I gave it a 3-star rating. I still, like I said, really enjoyed the story and the premise and having the conclusion wrapped up. I don't think, though, that the ending was wrapped up the way I liked, and it was just such a jarring transition from Unblemished, which is why it lost a bit of the star rating for the ending, because I felt like there was such a massive switch that I was just like, what happened? Like, I don't even know how we got here, because there was so much going on. And that's what the ending felt like to me. It was like we ended and I'm like, okay, where are we? What just happened? Okay. That's why it wasn't a 4-star rating for me, and also just some of the things that annoyed me. And I think most of it came from just the way the audiobook portrayed them, especially Ebony's character and that sound description thing and the pop culture thing. A lot of those things kind of brought down the rating for me. But I still would recommend this book. It's a fun fantasy read. If you guys enjoy Once Upon a Time or Disney fairy tales or musicals, you will really enjoy this book. As always, with all of my reviews, you guys feel free to leave questions down below. I will answer them for you guys as best as I can. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!